There is hope of a political solution to the Libyan crisis. Leaders of the two rival factions met in the United Arab Emirates and agreed to work together to end the conflict in their country. The Prime Minister of Libya's UN-backed government met with Field Marshal Khalifa Haftar in Abu Dhabi. Despite the absence of a comprehensive deal, the meeting has been described as a positive development towards resolving Libya's political crisis. Here is our UN correspondent Liling Tan on how the international community is viewing this meeting.
It might be somewhat premature to suggest that this is a turning point, but it is regarded as an important step in the right direction. It's only the second time that these rival sides in Libya's six-year war have met face-to-face, and comes after a big push by the United Nations after the two leaders refused to meet in Cairo in February. And even though there was disappointment that no concrete or comprehensive agreement was reached here, there was optimism after both sides agreed to address political and economic issues in the country and jointly create an army to fight terrorism, which the UN says is regaining ground lost earlier. And to put things in perspective, any agreement by both sides is a positive step in this deeply divided war. The UN insists that there is no alternative to the political agreement it brokered, but the government it backs, led by Fayez el-Sarraj, has been unable to fully function due to opposition by factions in eastern Libya that support Haftar. Regional and Western diplomats believe that General Haftar must play a key role in a unity government because he commands Libya's strongest military force, and that force has made gains in the fight against extremist groups, especially ISIL. But one thing that the UN may not be too thrilled about is General Haftar's call for changes to the UN-brokered deal for the unity government, which it stands by steadfastly. Liling Tan, CGTN, New York.
Now, to discuss the impact of the meeting between the two Libya rivals, we're joined by Dr. Ziad Akel. He is an analyst and researcher at the Ahram Center for Security and Strategic Studies. He is standing by for us in Cairo. Dr. Ziad, the leaders agreed to end the conflict, but as yet no comprehensive deal. So what exactly did they agree on?
Well, first of all, the fact that they actually met face-to-face is a very positive step, because such efforts to organize or coordinate a meeting between them have been failing miserably for the past months. They agreed mainly on the framework that was developed here in Cairo last February. They agreed that the unity of Libya is integral, that the framework in which the political solution will evolve is the framework laid down by the UN. They agreed that there will only be one legitimate coercive force in the country, and at the same time that there will be a process of constitution writing and basically building a state structure, and that the main regional players, Egypt, Algeria, and Tunisia, will continue to actually support the political solution with the backing of the UN. This is pretty much, in general, what's been agreed on. Other details are not as important. Some of them are yet unclear, but there is a very positive vision that exists in Libya right now.
And looking at this deal right now, Doctor, what would you say are the sticking points in it?
Well, there's a few problems, of course, having to do with conflicts between Libyan political elites. After all, Fayez el-Sarraj met with Khalifa Haftar, and there's a problem that not enough representation is coming from the West or from the Islamist forces. And again, Libyan Islamists might be one of the challenges facing this political coordination between Haftar and Sarraj. At the same time, there is, of course, the problem of the militias and what exactly will be done with them. Will they be disarmed? Will they be banned? Will militia and fighters and militias, are they going to be reintegrated into society? This is also something that's quite a sticking point. And finally, of course, there is a lot of terrorist threats inside of Libya. Libya has been turned into really a hub for terrorism and illegal immigration, and these also constitute security threats and challenges to the political settlement.
And of course, we have heard from the international community in reaction to these talks. Many have described them as a positive development. But what would you say then comes next?
I think the very first step that's going to happen in the few months ahead from now, basically forming the committee of different members of the House of Representatives and from the State Council. And this committee will review the Skhirat agreement, the political agreement, and will modify it and edit some of its articles, mainly having to do with the position of the armed forces within the state. Most probably there will be a political council and a military council at the same time. And I think that in the coming phase there will be a lot of pressure and haste to actually finish writing the constitution and have Libya emerge as an actual state with a clear structure. And finally, I believe that within the coming months, there will be another regional meeting between Haftar, Sarraj, Aguila Saleh, and the other regional actors, Egypt, Algeria, and Tunisia. Most probably this meeting will be on a presidential level between the presidents of these three countries and the representatives of Libyan political elites.
All right, Doctor, thank you very much for joining us here on Africa Live. That was Dr. Ziad Akil joining us live from Cairo. He is with the Ahram Center for Security and Strategic Studies.